You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done from professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, the 13th. Yes, it is. 13th day of July, 2018. So glad you could join us. President Trump is meeting with the Queen as we speak. What could possibly go wrong there? Oh, well, Mr. President, we certainly wish you the very best, and I know you and the wife will make us all proud back here at home. So, hey, welcome to the show. Glad you could make it on this fine Friday. Everybody's been working for the weekend, and wow, now it's here. So, what are you going to do with it? Type it into the chat box. I would love to know. I've got a chart up of the S&P 500. If you can't see it, go to our homepage at cfrn.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. You will be registered through the end of the month, and you only have to register once per month. We dual stream at youtube.com/cfrn/live. Bookmark that page. You'll always have one-click access. Having some troubles with the YouTube stream last couple of days. I'm going to work on that. I've been working on it. I'm going to continue to work on it until we get it squared away. So my apologies to those who do tune in that way and have missed some of the show this week, in particular Michael's recap, because well, I guess if we knew why, it would already be fixed. So if you're returning, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, a special welcome to you. We are certainly glad to have you with us. Now, I don't know if any of you were ever once a baby, but if you were, you probably got powdered. In fact, most American children in the 50s, 60s, I don't know, maybe it's still going on, we literally got drenched in baby powder day after day after day. Every time you had to go to the bathroom, yep, boom, more baby powder. Well, turns out that wasn't the best thing they could have done for us. The Fortune 500 company Johnson & Johnson has been ordered to pay $4.69 billion to women who argued in court that its talc products contained asbestos, on my little bottom, asbestos, and caused them to develop, and this is very serious, ovarian cancer. The St. Louis City Court verdict is the 6th largest product defect award in U.S. history, ordering $4.14 billion in punitive damages on top of $550 million designed to compensate the 22 women and their families. Now, the jury's decision that J&J's baby powder caused ovarian cancer could be more significant in the long run than this particular payout, however, and the company's stock dropped 1.5% after the verdict came out yesterday. This was a new theory, and the jury just lined up behind it, according to a Widener University law professor who teaches about mass tort cases. You've probably been invited to join in on some class action suit at some time, whether it was for a medication, something you were exposed to, a vitamin you took, or your cell phone carrier. Lots of those. And there's usually so many people involved in the class action suit that if the jury awards a $100 million judgment, you get, $1.85, because you have to split it up with everyone else. The fact that there's only 22 women, which my heart goes out to these 22 women, but I'm surprised there aren't more in the suit. Now, the case is linked to more than 9,000 claims that the company's products are linked to ovarian cancer. Emirius SA, the company that supplied the powder, was also sued and settled the claim for $5 million. The plaintiff's lawyers told jurors in his closing arguments that the company knew its products were contaminated with asbestos, but wanted to protect their sacred cow, baby powder. The lawyers said that the company rigged a test, and that if one test showed asbestos was present, the samples would be sent to another lab that J&J knew would find different results. Johnson & Johnson denied the argument, saying it did not make sense for the company to do extensive testing and still allow the product to be harmful. The company's lawyers said J&J used the best labs for testing and would appeal the jury's decision. Carol Goodrich, a J&J spokesman, told Bloomberg the verdict was the product of a fundamentally unfair process that allowed plaintiffs to present a group of 22 women, most of whom had no connection to Missouri, in a single case, all alleging that they had developed ovarian cancer. Well, I'm curious how certainly they can prove that these women are sick, and again, my heart goes out to them for what has happened, but how did they tie it to the baby powder? I don't see the smoking. I think the term is smoking gun. I don't see it. But J&J is going to appeal it, so I'm sure we'll know more soon. The Texas State Securities Board announced yesterday that an emergency action has been taken to target promoters of crypto mining investments, according to the notice published July 12th by the board. Utah-based companies Mintage Mining, Symmetry, Nui Social, and BC Holdings are named in the emergency cyst and deceased order. They are all controlled by Darren Olian of Lehi, Utah. In addition, Inui Social affiliates, Utah-based Douglas Wetzel and Houston-based Wyatt McCulloch, are also named in the order. Mintage Mining, LLC, allegedly issues and offers 2 different crypto mining related investments illegally and fraudulently. Together with Symmetry LLC, they sell pre-configured computer hardware to mine Kala, an ERC20 token, which Symmetry claims to be fungible and transferable and is expected to be traded on cryptocurrency exchanges in the near future. Symmetry also claims that more than 13,000 users have signed up for the ICO, which sold more than 814 million tokens. It supposedly raised over 8.5 million and more than 800 BTC, according to the commissioner. Nui Social is a multi-level marketing company that claims to have more than 300,000 members in 140 countries. Members of the scheme recruit individuals for crypto investments and earn commissions for the people that they recruit. Wetzel and McCulloch were named for publishing advertisements targeting Texas residents. According to the document, the promoters made claims such as the average weekly rate of interest varies from 3% to 7%, and the annual rate of interest ranges from 180% to 250%. Now that should have got your spidey senses going right there. The advertisements also represent that McCulloch's investment grew 500% within 7 weeks, while his uncle's rose 4,000% in 10 weeks. Now the order alleges widespread violations of the Texas Securities Act by all of the entities and individuals named. According to the commissioner, none of the persons offering any of the investments are registered to sell securities in Texas, nor are the investment themselves registered for sale, nor do they have qualifications for an exemption from the registration. Well, there you go. My. All right, a little dash of crypto. Let's take a look at the numbers around the world. These are the cash markets. We'll talk futures here in a bit. Currently, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 94 points. NASDAQ is up 14. S&P 500 is up 5, and the Russell 2000 is up 2 points, almost 2 points. No movers, no shakers, but it's all green. In the commodity basket, crude oil has added 39 cents today, trading 70.72 last. Gold lost $4.29 so far this session, trading 1242.30 last. Asia, the Nikkei closed out the week up 409 points. Shanghai lost 6 points today, and at the close, the Hang Seng added another 44 points. Last and not least, the FTSE in the European markets at the close was up 10, the DAX was up 47, and the CAC was up 23. So a lot of green in the markets. In fact, the only red would be the Shanghai, and that's it, the Shanghai. But yet we don't have any movers or shakers. Nope, I take that back. The Nikkei is up almost 2%. Definitely a shaker. Okay, let's get over to Michael and get a recap of what happened in the live training room today. And then we'll talk to John and take a look at some other things. Michael, are you ready?
I am ready. All right.
So your mom used to sprinkle the baby powder on your bottom?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to shower as soon as this show's over, in case there's still some, you know, there's a lot of cracks and crevices there, you know, yeah, some residue.
Yeah.
So, you know, the whole marijuana thing is getting legalized everywhere, legal in California, DC, other states, the medical use in a lot of states. and it's all coming full circle. So there'll be a lot of money made in a lot of different ways. The one thing I haven't heard of yet are like remember the Tupperware home parties, and the Mary Kay Cosmetics, and the Avons, the Amway, right? Who's going to become the king or queen of the MJ home party circuit? That's going to be fascinating to find out, because it'll be somebody. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting.
That is. Hey, you can get a bus.
Yes.
Go around California on a bus.
You know, I was surprised to learn that a dispensary license in California, I was under the impression that they were like incredibly expensive. What it is people who've actually managed to get a dispensary opened, or they don't have to be dispensaries anymore in California. It can just be, you know, the corner store. But a license to have a retail operation in California, it's only, because I see these shops going for big numbers, lots of commas, and the actual license with the state, the best I could determine, because I was doing a little research on this, is like $6,000.
Really?
Yeah. So I think I'm missing something somewhere. I kept checking, and then I decided to compare that to Arizona, where it's not 100% legal, but where it's legal for medical. You get the ID card, and you go to the dispensaries. The dispensaries are popping up everywhere. And in Arizona, the price was about the same to open a dispensary here. And it's different here because, well, for obvious reasons. So anyone in the audience that has any first-hand knowledge of that, I would love to know what's happening in your state in regards to that. And Canada, about 2 weeks ago, I think it was, the whole country legalized it. The first country, I guess.
Really?
One of the very first. Yeah, they just... And now our... see, the issue is states individually have made it legal. Some states, Washington, D.C. being one of the first, interestingly enough. But there's still this federal law that's hanging over everyone's head, and that's why the people who own the dispensaries can't use the banking system. So all these places, man, they're dealing with in cash. It's all cash, and they're being forced to deal in cash, which just begs, for someone to get involved in some kind of money laundering, fraud, or who knows what else. Well, I think the federal government has to take away that federal restriction so that these people can start using banks. Otherwise, there's going to be problems. You're going to have such a huge black market going on out there, and all kinds of different things. So,
yeah,
put it on the books, tax it, and go on about your business, I guess. So, all right, I'll let you do your thing. You already got the charts?
I do.
All right, let me see if there's any way possible I can drag them over there. Let me just try opening it over here first. Well, see, I'm already zoomed up to 75%. What happens if I go 100 and it's already? Ooh. Listen, slow jazz. Well, you can't see that because you're on the other side of the curtain. I got it kind of opened up yesterday a little bit better than it had been. Something's coming together right here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, that's still not how it should be, but it's better than nothing, guys. So, all right, I'll be here when you're done.
All right. All right. So, here we go, guys. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Friday, the 13th day of July, 2018. Yeah, let's see here. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go to the home page at CFRN.net, like you see it right here. This is the home page at CFRN.net. And on here, there are several ways to take the free trial. You can click here, or down here, or even down here. Either way, when you click there, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? If you don't click on the confirmation link, when you click there, you'll be sent to this page. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. You click that submit button, and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. If you don't click that confirmation link, we don't know you took the trial. Okay, so you got to make sure you click on that link. Now the spreadsheet, got to get that back out. It is. We had a yellow day today, guys. A yellow day. There it goes. Working. Okay. And we had a yellow day. Here we go. As I said, today is the 13th day of July, 2018. We started out with 2 stop outs and we made it back to +4 ticks. We ended up with -4 on the euro, +14 on crude, and -6 on the ES. That put us at +40 on the morning session. We took 11 trades to do that. So of all the trades that we took out of the 11 trades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, only 3 of them were break even. So that's not a lot of break evens, but not a lot of big gains either. We had 1 big gain on crude, and then we had 2 small gains on crude. And we had to stop out on the ES, then 2 small gains on the ES. We had to stop out on the ES, then a small gain on the ES. We had to stop out on the euro and 2 small gains on the euro. So we got back positive, but we didn't get our goal for the day. If I'd have gotten some of the trades that I missed, we would have gotten the goal for the day for sure. What's the significance of the weekly trading zone? The weekly trading zones are areas to not trade. You can use them as targets, or that's what I do. If it gets in the weekly trading zone or near the weekly trading zone, I usually don't like to trade around it, Paul. And if it's in the weekly trading zone, I won't trade at all. Okay. Gross monthly profit right now, $1,218. That's over 9 days, averaging $135 per day. And on the year now, $20,497. That's over 126 days, averaging $162 per day. Okay, 162 per day. Okay. All right. Now, let's go through and see what happened or didn't happen. Nothing happened for us on gold today. In the pre-market, there was some nice trade setups right here. But when it came around to the market opening up for us, we just didn't get a thing. Look at how flat that is right there. That's 2 hours right there. Total flatness. Well, 2.5 hours now. And we just didn't have a trade setup that we could get into there. Okay, the black step line had crossed up above the BBC here, and that was right at the open. And that was the only chance. Okay, and it's been like 2 weeks of this. 2 weeks of this business. The euro started out really flat. Really flat right now. And, well, it started out really flat. Then made a leg up, closed up above the trend line. We got long. It stopped us out, -8 ticks. And we got, what did we get back here? We got 1 tick there. We missed that one, which would have given us a little bit. Then we got 3 ticks there to put us at -4 on the day. During the break, there was really nothing in here. Really not a darn thing. Okay. Crude oil. Crude had enough movement for us to get our goal for the day if we hadn't stopped out. And that first stop out on the ES was a mistake. That was my fault. But I'll show you that in a minute. On crude, we started out here with a break-even trade. Then we picked up 10 ticks right here. Okay, and 2 more right here to get us to +12 on crude. Then we missed this right here, which may have given us the 6 ticks that we needed to get the goal for the day. We missed this right here, which we should have gotten. That definitely would have given us what we needed to get the goal for the day. But we picked up 2 more ticks here to get us at +14, and then we had a break even right there. Now, during the break, Crude had some really nice trade opportunities. It had one right there, another one right there, another one there, and that was about it on the short side. Okay, so I had some really nice trade opportunities during the break. I was telling all the folks that were in the room this morning that, you know, just because I don't manage to get it done during the live training room doesn't mean I won't get it done by the end of the day. And there's plenty of opportunity right in here. Things turned around. Okay, changed directions and started moving up. So right there was a long, and that's it. And that's it for that. Okay, on the ES. On the ES, we had a stop out right here. Now, I should not have taken this trade because it was not trending. So this was my mistake that stopped me from getting the goal for the day. I made a mistake right there. The market was not trending, okay? And I wish somebody had jumped all over me when I did that. I realized it while I was in it, and it looked like it was going to start to go, so I stayed in it, and it ended up stopping me out. Then I ended up with 2 ticks here to put the ES back to -6 and a break even there. And since then, there has been nothing. Nothing at all. Okay? And that was my morning. That was my morning. It was slow and tedious. And starting out with that stop out on the ES, I did that last Friday too, I think. Anyway, as I said, today is the 13th day of July, 2018. And today, I ended up with -4 on the euro, +14 on crude, -6 on the ES. That's +40 on the morning session. Took 11 trades to get there. On the month now, we're at 1218. That's over 9 days, averaging 135 per day. And on the year, we're at 20,497. That's over 126 days, averaging 162 per day. Okay. Oops. All right. If you have not taken the free trial with us, if you have not taken the free trial with us, go to the homepage here at CFRN.net, and all you have to do is click on this thing right here. It says apply.cfrn.net, or scroll down here where it says free 5-day trial. You can click on that, or right here where it says use our proprietary indicators for free. You can click on that. Any one of those is going to bring you to this page, and on this page all we ask for is your email, your first name, how you found us. Click on that submit button and you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click on the confirmation link, you will not get the free trial. All right, and that's it. That's it, guys. With that, I'm going to send it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
No, it's yeehaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeehaw. Okay. Let's see. That's me. Yes.
Yeah, and I gotta go back to finish it when I was doing it here because I got interrupted.
Do you have a meeting, right, that you got to go to? Or
I actually, I have.
Session or something, or you already did it? Or?
I already did that, but I do have something else that I gotta do. But I gotta finish. I'm finishing up the password for next week right now.
Oh, very good.
And get that done and out of the way.
The other place, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. This week it will be. Make sure I spelled that right. Yes, I did. Okay. Done. All right. And I'll send you the link for that in just a minute. Okay. Updated.
And John's not here yet, is he?
Hang on. Let me take a look, Dwayne. No, he's not.
Okay. Well, very good. I guess I'll jingle my phone when he's ready. Because you got to go do your thing.
Yes. There we go. Change.
Now, who in the world would ring my doorbell on a day like today? On a Friday. Can you?
On a Friday.
Can you watch the store for
yes.
just a second?
Yep, I can. Okay, I am setting up the password for next week. You guys have no idea how all this is done, but I've done it now for next week, and I'm going to save it just like that and send it to Dwayne just like that. All right. Well, Dwayne's got the charts up here, but what you are looking at on Dwayne's charts are the 30-minute 30-minute ES. Now, Paul, are you still listening? Paul K? Okay. You see how price went up and hit the weekly trading zone, and then it consolidated there from 6 o'clock at night last night till 9:30 this morning, I think, or that might have been 6 in the morning to 9:30 this morning, yesterday morning, 6 in the morning to 9:30 yesterday morning, and it was attracted to that zone. It had a hard time getting away from it and out of it. That is not uncommon. Then once it broke away from it, you'll either look for it to get to the next zone away or to come back to it. And you do that on a smaller time frame. Okay. You can put something on this chart, this 30-minute chart. If you wanted to use 2 time frames, you would put something on a 30-minute chart like the MA1. And if the MA1 is red and climbing, is red and dropping or blue and climbing, then you go back to your smaller time frame and you look there and you see, if you're going to have long opportunities, if you get a bias from the larger time frame, you can use the smaller time frame for direction. For the precise entries. Okay. I don't know if you've looked into that at all. You've had mentoring sessions with Dwayne, and I know he typically goes over stuff like that. So, okay. I don't have the charts right now, so I can't move stuff around on Dwayne's. Yes, you do. Okay, I thought you were back.
Yeah. What was the question?
What is the significance of the weekly trading zone?
Well, let me tell you all about it. So many examples this week. Where would one start? Okay. Concierge Trade Alert to sell 27.71. Right there. Okay. Now, where's your target? Weekly trading zone. Boom. By 27.82. Where's your target? Zones are an area, so we get accustomed to them turning right at the zone like that sometimes, but sometimes they might spike it by a few ticks or come up a few ticks short. Over here by 27.84 was the trade alert, and the target 3 points right up to the zone. That's exactly what it did. And I could go on, but here price, the trade alert was to buy 24.780, and the ultimate target is the zone, which it took us to. When price hits a zone, it will consolidate most of the time. Only 3 things can happen. 1 is the consolidation, the most likely. 2 is the rejection, which we saw a good example of right there. That's rejection. Runs down, touches the zone, and it's like it touched the hot stove, and it runs back across the room and leaves a wick. Okay. They are trade to targets. They serve a multitude of purposes. What you can do, Paul, is if you go to Google and you type in CFRN weekly trading zones, it'll bring you back a full page of articles over the years. We've been publishing them since December 14th of 2009. So Google will give you videos, Google will give you charts, and Google will give you a bunch of articles that have been written. So just CFRN weekly trading zones, and you have enough stuff to keep you busy all afternoon. Okay, so you got to go, right?
I do have to go do something right now.
Alrighty. Well, yeah. We'll talk to you later. And
okay. I sent you the new password and stuff for next week.
You did? Okay. All right. Thanks very much.
I've been taking care of the ones that are out there right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Paul, you are very welcome. Brad, do you have any records of alerts, zones, and trades like Mike's spreadsheet? I go over the Concierge Trade Alerts, every single one, 8 markets, every single day. So yes, what he just did, I do the same thing. The difference between them is I send out 8 markets, 2 trade ideas per market. So that's 16 potential trade setups as soon as it hits your inbox. However, important prices and important areas are almost always tested. And this is just one example. Here we were selling 27.79. It goes down, hits the zone, runs back up, gets above the trigger, triggers a second time. Okay, and when that starts happening, you could end up with 20, 30, 40 actual triggers in the course of a day. And so there's no way any one person or even group of people will be able to trade every single one of those triggers. Now, Michael, in the 2 hours that he is live and watching those 4 or 5 charts that he has up, he does his very best to take each legitimate setup per our rules, and the rules are pretty simple. He does his best to take every single one of those setups. But with what I send out, there's no way anybody can take all of those trades. So to try to recap it and to say that this is what we did or what you can't do it. Now, what your job is when you receive those alerts, especially if you're a partner and you have the indicators and you have the zones, so that you can triangulate those trades. You've got all these opportunities, you got triggers going off left and right. What you're looking for are the ones that present the lowest risk and the highest probability. And we'll go through some from today, from last night. Let me take a quick look here and see if John's hanging out. Nope, not yet. All right, he'll be along shortly. In fact, that's what we'll do, Brad, is, well, Brad, we have been, you can go back 3 years and start watching the recaps. If you go to emini.cfrn.net. About 3 years ago, I used to not only recap on the radio show, I would then turn around and do a standalone video outside of the radio program where that's all I did was just recap those. So you can either go to youtube.com/CFRN or go to emini.cfrn.net, and you got to scroll and go way back in the way back. Or if you just want to watch the recap from yesterday or last Tuesday or 3 Thursdays ago, they're right there. And you can fast forward and scoot up through the broadcast until you see me actually going through the individual setups. So it's all there for you. And as to how they've been performing, well, I'm not wearing this grin for nothing. So markets have been very kind of late. Very, very kind. All right, last night, in fact, trying to look in 2 directions at once, look for John and keep an eye on this. Let me find it. Now, anybody that wants to take a screenshot, I'm going to pull it over right now so you can do that. If you're on the GoTo software, little thing up top looks like a camera. It is. There we go. I was very late getting them out last night. I almost always, like on Wednesday night, I got them out at 6:30. Tuesday, got them out at 6:40. It's Eastern time. And here was another late one. Sunday night, got them out at 6:30 Eastern. Last Thursday, got them out at 8:40. So I shoot to get them out by 9 p.m. Eastern, but sometimes life happens and I don't. But it doesn't matter because you have such a multitude of opportunities spread across all the markets. you can sit down at, and people see these triggers when I go over and think, well, that's in 3 in the morning. I don't want to get up at 3 in the morning. Okay. You don't have to. Anytime during the session that you sit down, if you've got the charts and the alerts and the zones and all of that, something is almost always triggering somewhere or getting close to triggering. So that's what you do, is you simply wait for those to come together. Last night on the S&P 500, as you just saw, we said to consider selling 2801 if the opportunity presented itself, and it did. Right about there. How about there? Yeah. All right. So 2801. And we put in an initial low right here at 27.95.50. And then this swing high right here, 28.01.50. Price has to get back above the trigger to qualify for another move, and this candle did by 2 ticks, and that went on to put in a low at 27.93 and a quarter. So we'll just round it up and we'll call it 94. So that's 7 S&P points. At $50 a point, it's $350 per contract available. And then 01, and what was the low here? The low was 95.50, so we'll just call it 96. So that's 5 S&P points. The trigger on the long side was 28.10 if the opportunity presented, and it hasn't. In fact, this 2800 to 28.25, which is our highest weekly trading zone, we've been watching and waiting on that all week, and it hasn't happened. Sunday night when Globex opens, if the market stays in this general area, if there's no sell-off going into the close, it's very possible that we get that run to 28.25 that we've been looking for, and if we do, it might be the end of the innocence. There's John. John, welcome to the show. No, I guess he's still plugging in his headset.
Hello?
Hey, John, what's going on? Welcome to the show.
I was just listening to what you were saying there about going to 28.25, and I would concur with that. The market's doing kind of exactly what we thought today. Remember, we said we'd have a strong Friday, strong Thursday and Friday. Yeah. We are getting a little bit up, stretched on a few things on the upside, but the fangs, all my aims, the triple aims, that's Amazon, Alphabet, and Apple, and Microsoft, are all over 800 billion market cap for the first time ever today. Microsoft is doing extremely well. Just cracked the 800 billion barrier, and it could actually be the surprise, because when a stock breaks 100, and it's been kind of working around the 100 level for a while, and now it's 105, you could have some news come out the next few days, possibly their earnings as well could jump the stock. I mean, there's no way this stock's going up the way it is without somebody, obviously people are buying this stock because they believe the earnings are going to outperform. So you could have another gap up this quarter and possibly hit, 120, 130 on Microsoft. And before you know it, it could be a come from behind candidate where you know, we get to, I think, 130 billion, $130 hits the trillion, is just about $1 trillion for Microsoft, or not far off. I mean, look, Apple's much closer, obviously, and so is Google, Alphabet, and Amazon. But you'd be surprised, you know, Microsoft could easily overtake them. And it would be kind of intriguing if it actually was the first one to hit $1 trillion. You know, if it really came from behind, and it could. You know, you never know what's. There's Microsoft has a phenomenal chart right now, and it looks like it's going to go parabolic. So, you know, anybody who's ever bought that stock's making money, a winner today. All four of them. You know, Amazon. The only one that's the odd man out today is Netflix, and I think Netflix will come back. You know, just come from behind. You know, and might probably going to come out with blockbuster earnings again. And
blockbuster, there was 2 left on the planet, I believe, and I think one of them closed yesterday.
Two what?
Blockbusters.
Oh, really? I didn't. I didn't even know that. Well,
yeah, I didn't know there was any left either. I thought they went under, and the article was actually about the fact that most people have the Blockbuster story wrong, and I never got to the part where they told what the wrong was. But what's the general story? It was something unusual, wasn't it?
You mean about why it went under?
Yeah, there was.
Well, I think Netflix had a lot to do with it, and right. You know, listen, I don't have time to put a tweet out, but I think the Nasdaq's coming under pressure here again. So probably we had to stop at 7,400 on a PSA. So you know, if the Nasdaq comes undone, or if the markets come undone today, it could be a problem, because the mid caps are kind of the weakest of the bunch today, and that's, you know, after being very strong earlier on, for some reason they got sold off, and this indictment came out on these Russians. That's putting a little bit of pressure on the market as well.
John,
you know,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, but I found the article. I'll share it with you in a minute. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Blockbuster thing, it's, you know, the Netflix obviously superseded it, and you know, just being able to download a movie, or even call up a movie, you know, in your home, is, you know, it's the way it's going to be. It's just like downloading songs, you know. It's going to be just that. It's going to get easier and easier to get access to content online. And look at I mean, there's drastic changes going on with Dish and what's the other one called? DirecTV. Because they're going to the streaming model as well, and they're kind of weaning off the satellites. So you know, you have to keep all these things in mind. Look, the metals, you know, we're actually, you know what, the metal, I sort of said it a while ago, the metals, this could be a significant turning point today, and the dollar is tanking off. I don't know what caused the dollar to go down today, but we put a sell up near the highs around 94.90 or somewhere like that, and it's down to 94.550 right now, and it's actually going lower. The peso, we actually put a buy on the peso yesterday because it sold off rather sharply, and the peso keeps bouncing on this new president, so we took a shot at it yesterday, and the peso's up dramatically today to a new high, new sort of multi-month high. The dollar is literally breaking down before our eyes, and that's giving a lift to the look. We made a slightly lower low on the gold this morning, the silver, I think, as well, but we've come off those lows. The grains also kind of were weak to start with. They're still weak, but they're off the lows. But the wheat is positive. You know, we got a bit of a bounce off that rally yesterday, and we went positive before the close, but we sold it in the night session, and we've been going down ever since. So these grains are really having a tough time trying to put in a bottom. And the cotton as well. The cotton went limit up yesterday. It came off the limit. It pulled back this morning. We bought the pullback, and the cotton is making new highs now. So, you know, the cotton could relift the grains. The lower the dollar goes today, the more chance the grains might rally. They've already lifted the crude. We've done quite well in the crude. I'm sort of trying out a new system. It's been working extremely well. Got us long the crude down in the 69, in the mid 69 area, the high to mid 69s, and the rest of the products. And we're actually recovering quite stoutly on the crude today, and the products in general, except for natural gas, which is weak. But I think the dollar is put in a reversal today. If it breaks down any further, we start going back to 94 or 93. I have to say, I have to believe the dollar's over. You know, the dollar rally's over. And, you know, notwithstanding the weakness, you know, slight weakness we're seeing in the metals right now, the fundamentals are getting stronger for the metals for sure. I mean, you've got PPI and CPI at 3% plus. Both of these are approaching 2011 levels when gold hit 1900. So you've got to be, I know it's dead, you know, kind of a dead mouse situation right now in terms of the way gold's been acting, but the metals in general, but you know, I got a real strong feeling there's going to be a runaway move to the upside at some point, because the fundamentals are overwhelmingly bullish for gold and silver right now. Whether they're being deliberately held down or whatever's going on, could be the case. But something out there in the next week or two could pop the gold. And you know, July is usually a bottoming month for gold. Start rallying into August, September. So timing wise, you know, I mean, right now we're putting in by all appearances, we're putting in what could be a very significant bottom in the metals. It's not confirmed yet.
How low did we go? What did we drop to last night? We hit a low of 36.20, 1236.20.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's quite a good bottom that we've put in there, and that 1238 that just nicked out the 1239 bottom put in a while back, just by a few bucks. That's potential positive, but we've got to get up. You know, we've got to get back up above 1250 to really make, you know, start looking like this thing, the lows are in. But you know, another thing is the Chinese yuan is going down it's gone down a lot, and that, you know, has to create a lot of demand in China, because the gold price in China is going up, you know, against the yuan. And then you got all these other countries where the currencies are weak as well. So you know, we haven't seen any kind of really major central bank buying for quite a long time, and that's something that just could come out of the blue. You know, if India suddenly bought a couple of 100 tons of gold or something like that, I mean, you'd see a $200 move up in gold overnight, and we might be, you know, something like that could be around the corner. So you know, this is, look, what you're looking at right now on this chart. That's how you know, stocks tend to bottom. You know, or markets tend to bottom. You know, they put it, and the thing is that when they put these kinds of things in, it's not happening yet on the gold, but if we do see a runaway move to the upside this afternoon, then, you know, it strengthens a case for a real bottoming put in place. And once again, we didn't break. You know, even though I was disappointed after the rally yesterday in the platinum, we've gone down to just the same lows again. But again, we're not making new lows on the platinum. That's a totally different situation than we've seen over the last, you know, few months, where platinum's been the worst performer. It's turned out to be the best performer now, practically. So the problem is palladium. the lesser problem is platinum. If we suddenly see a move up back towards 845, 850 on the platinum, I think you can start to think that this thing could be in a major recovery situation, but we're not there yet. Now we do have a kind of a double pullback, a double 1-2 pullback on the platinum, which if that holds and we do claw our way higher today, as I said to you yesterday, I said it wasn't kind of, I said be careful of the gold because it's it could be rough before going into the weekend and even over the weekend. So the next few days are pretty critical to how gold behaves. And it's a little bit frustrating because when the dollar gets knocked down as much as it does today, as much as it has already today, and gold is still negative, it's a bit of a head scratcher, and this happened a few days, the last time the dollar tanked, gold didn't immediately react, but then it suddenly reacted and we had a rally. So that's what should happen today, but it's not happening yet.
Platinum. I want to bring up a chart here real quick. I'm going to put you on hold. Go ahead, John. I got to.
Yeah. By the way, the other thing that's going on is, look, this is sort of after July, after this weekend. To get into the second half of July, you have to start being careful with the market. So right now, as I've said, since the lows on the Dow, that the Dow would become a leader. We've gone up 1,000 points since I said that. We were down to 2,400 when I said the Dow is going to start to become the strongest index, and that's very evident today because we just haven't gone anywhere since I started talking, and the Dow's gone up 20 or 30 points. So we're definitely, the Dow stocks are doing much better today. I think look, Nvidia is breaking down. That's why I was saying earlier on, the Nasdaq's on a bit of a sell right now. But the S&P and the Dow are making it. Unless we tank for some reason this afternoon, I still say the odds are fairly high that we're going to push higher to your 28, 25 number next, Sunday night, Monday morning, something like that. After that, we'll have to see how things play out. But we're in a pretty powerful uptrend on the FANGs. Although we're pulling back a bit, Microsoft in particular, see right now, Amazon's coming back a bit, and Microsoft is really one of the strongest stocks today. Also, Madrigal, which is the stock that jumped $100 and $200, it's breaking out to the upside, and what's
the symbol on Madrigal again?
MDGL.
Yeah, there's platinum on a weekly chart right there.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's got a weekly spike, but it still could go down and test that next week. Possibly, it's not unless it turns up, before the close. It's not a very good situation.
Right there, that could, if it can hold.
Yeah, it'd be, that's the thing. That's why the 850 level is so important now. 850, 860. But this is. I mean, look at the size of that spike. This is the sort of thing that can create a really big bottom. Look at the high. Remember, look at the one. Sorry, you just put. Okay,
I'll put it back on.
Okay, go back to 2016. Go back to 2016.
On the weekly or the daily?
Yeah, the week.
Yeah, sure. Okay. 2016.
Okay. Yeah, you see. I mean, look how terrible platinum looked. When it actually made the low, right? And then it just powered higher. I mean, honestly, this looks like a better looking bottom developing here than the one we had in 2016 in some ways, in terms of that spike. If we hold here and we start going higher, could that be it? Is it going to be a longer bottom like we had in 2016? Could be. But on the other hand, if we do start, if this thing starts going, if you start having a green week on the platinum, if it even starts to go green, it's probably worth going long, because can you take that thing off for a second? Okay, you see what happened when you had a green week? No.
I'm back on. I'm on a 30-minute now.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, there you go. Look at it. It looks like it's trying to go higher here. So
you know, that's, I got to tell you, this is one of the most unusual. I mean, this is. I don't think I've ever seen a chart that looks quite like this.
I think you got there might be some bad data.
I think there's a scaling issue.
Yeah, there is something wrong with it. But
I'm quite sure that, yeah.
Yeah, but you know, you can see. Look, if we start to, you know, if we get above that dotted line there, you know, then everything changes.
Yep.
And you'd have to, you know, a green week, as I was pointing out earlier on, if the week starts to go green, I'd go for it, because look what happened every time you had a green week on platinum, you had a huge up week, right? That's a little tip.
Okay. All right.
So yeah,
how did this thing go today with Trump and the Queen? Did he get through that?
I think it went great. It looks like it went great. Looks like it went great.
That's good.
And it's you know, the meeting with May went very well. He's
what's the left
you know,
screaming about? He made some kind of horrible faux pas during this meeting with May. What did he do?
No, he kind of, well, he did an interview with the Sun and it kind of got misquoted, but he apologized to May, actually, which is kind of unusual for him. So
Really?
and they all that,
That
pally. You know, what's sad is you know, John Cleese, the British actor, is quitting Britain. He's leaving Britain and in disgust and going to live in Nevis, which is probably a nice place to live.
Where's Nevis?
And it's in the Caribbean. It's an island in the Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis. It's actually a British territory.
Okay.
And you know, and it's a paradise, a beautiful place. And he just said he's had it up to had it with Britain, had it with all the way everything's happening. And you know, I think a lot of people probably felt the same way after hearing this testimony yesterday. You know, it's very sad. You know, you got these Democrats defending this guy who's just out there, this rogue FBI agent, as if he's some kind of a saint. You know, it's just unbelievable.
This guy, he's actually kind of creepy. When
Yeah,
you think about the
beyond
fact that you know, someone of his nature, and that girlfriend of his who's also on the government payroll. I mean,
yeah.
Is that the best we have? Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe we are in trouble. You know?
Look, there's been a lot of, you know, there's not every FBI agent is a saint. You know, there's been a few devils, you know, not many, but there's been a few of them, you know, over the years. And this guy, boy, you know, I mean, look, and I mean, he's like, he thinks, I think this guy's got some kind of a superiority complex. He thinks he's James Bond. I mean, he really thinks he's untouchable. You know. So, but
Okay, what else got going on here?
oh, the coffee is breaking down again. So, having seen, look, when you get a big rally in something like the coffee, and we had a monster rally, that's for sure. You know, going from 107 back up to 115. That's a great, in a couple of days. That tells you something. It means that you want to be very much you know, ready to buy the next dip in coffee, because you know, the next turnaround where it comes from could produce you know, an equally spectacular rally, or possibly even bigger. It might be the real bottom. So I'd keep an eye on that. Right now it's plunging after being fairly strong for a few days. It just suddenly got weak again, and got pretty weak today, down nearly 3 points. So, and obviously looks like it'll probably gap lower next week, unless there's a frost in Brazil or something. But you know, I would be looking for a re-entry point in coffee over the next few days or hours even, I think the and I think that sugar is another issue to keep an eye on, because with the inflation, look, the grains are the same thing. You know, we've had some big rallies in the grains. At some point, this grain, the grains are going to turn, and when they do, you know, in actual fact, we have the elements of a bottom in place. I mean, look, I could take you back to 2012, I think it was, and even 2007 or 8. We were in the same boat with the grains. They were down in the dumps, and they suddenly took off. And I mean, when these grains take off, I mean, you cannot catch them. They start going limit up every day. It's very hard to buy when that's happening. So you know, we're probably in bottoming territory in terms of commodities right now, and people should be, you know, you should be stalking these markets to try and get safe entry points to what could be big up moves.
Okay. Sunday night, I don't know why, I have a feeling we're going to see some movement Sunday night. The S&P cannot seem to climb above this 2810 level. We were really looking for possibly the 2825. I started looking for that earlier in the week, but it got foiled on a couple of attempts, and sometimes Sunday night, if the price really needs to go there, Sunday night's a good time to push it there. Won't be a lot of resistance, and then we'll walk into that Monday morning. So at 6 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night, if all goes according to plans, I'll have the alerts out to all of you guys, hopefully no later than 6:30. So now, did you hear about let's see what that was. This thing on Twitter? What's Twitter doing today, by the way?
Oh, they're purging all kinds of followers.
Yeah. Twitter announced. Okay, that's Twitter announced Wednesday, I guess, that this week it would no longer include locked accounts in users' follower numbers in an attempt to restore faith in those accounts. In a blog post, Twitter said that most people would see a drop of about 4 followers, but that those with larger follower numbers could experience a more significant drop. A spokesman told Business Insider changes would affect tens of millions of accounts, representing about 6% of all follows. For celebrity Twitter users with huge followings like Katy Perry, 110 million, Barack Obama, 104, Donald Trump, 53 million, this could mean a sizable culling of their follower counts. Twitter says it locks an account if it detects sudden changes in behavior, such as tweeting lots of unsolicited replies or mentions, posting misleading links, or being blocked by numerous accounts after mentioning them. Once an account is locked, it cannot tweet, like, or retweet, and it does not see ads. This isn't the same as deletion, and Twitter will often unlock an account after a set period of time or once it is verified with the account owner. Twitter said locked accounts tend to have been created by real people rather than bots. Its founder, Jack Dorsey, tweeted about the change, adding the hashtag help. Dorsey and Twitter have been pushing a wider discussion about how to improve the health of conversations on Twitter, which has struggled to tackle abuse and harassment on its platform.
Katy Perry's just lost about 3 million followers.
You know,
Trump's lost 300. Trump's lost 300,000 since I last looked at it. Justin Bieber, he's lost about 6 million. I think he was well, maybe he's lost a few million as well. Jimmy Kimmel lost 200,000 followers. He told everybody last night. I lost a few hundred. I don't know why, but anyway. So
2,000. I don't know if I've dropped or not because I don't watch it that closely. For somebody who's tweeted 11.6 thousand times, 11,600, I guess. I don't follow this. And
he was up around 40 or 50,000. I saw he's down to 6,000. For God's sake, Jesus.
2,673. now. Oh, I'm not logged in. That's why it's not showing. I've got like 100 messages, or what are they called? I've been at this for.
Oh, notifications.
Yeah, notifications. I gotta figure out how to. I don't want anybody to think I'm, not friendly, not replying, whatever the case may be. So I have to work on my netiquette. I remember my first tweet. I had no idea what to say, and Gabe and I were sitting on the couch watching TV, and Twitter was recently born. So I tweeted, Gabe and I are watching TV, and that was it. That was my first tweet. That was the first tweet of 11,600 tweets so far. So, have you ever sent? You can. There's a way to download all of your tweets. Have you ever done that?
No.
I'll probably wait till I write the book, but no. Okay, what else we got going on out here in the world today? So that's now. Were you on yesterday or one day this week? We were talking about this lady who worked at Facebook and quit, and her job was to review posts that had been flagged by other users. Were you on when we talked about that?
Say again, sorry?
A lady who worked for Facebook. I'm trying to remember her name. She quit. They did an interview with her. She was in a department with 3,500 other people. Their job all day long, all they did was look at posts. You know how when you look at a Facebook post and it says you can report it if you think it shouldn't be there, if it's offensive or graphic, and so when a Facebook post gets flagged by a user, it would go over to her department, and she would have to look at it and decide whether or not it violated policy and needed to be taken down. And so it really took a toll on her, because she says for 8 hours a day I'm sitting there looking at the most horrific pornography, bestiality, child, she goes, it's just, and she couldn't take it anymore. 8 hours a day looking at this stuff. She said she got it down to kind of a science where she didn't have to look at something but just a couple seconds, and she knew if it should come down. And she said one of the really sad things was that she got to know some of the children in a way, because their picture kept resurfacing, because in these circles they tend to circulate this stuff around. Terrible. But she said the thing that really forced her out the door was the fact that if she found something pornographic, whatever kind of, it needed to be taken down, she would take it down. If the person had been a Facebook member for less than 30 days, they would close their account. If they had been a Facebook member for more than 30 days, they let them keep the account. But no matter what, they never went after the person who posted it. And when she asked, her bosses why, they said, well, there's no way. Because think about it, 3,500 people, each one of them working an 8-hour shift every day. And she said there was always more work than they could get done by the end of the shift. Just going through these posts, and she said, and they never once did anybody call the sheriff and say, hey, this guy Fred over on Elm Street, he's uploading some pretty horrendous stuff to the internet. It's still not being done. They've added, I think, a couple more thousand reviewers like her to take this stuff down, but no one is going after the people behind it. The numbers are just too large. We don't have enough law enforcement officers in this country to that's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
But Mark's living pretty large, but we can't afford to. Okay. I would think that would, maybe when he has a child. Have they had a kid yet? Do they plan to have kids? I don't know. Our royal family here in the U.S. Maybe when he has his own kid, maybe he'll change his tune. I don't know. Maybe not. All right. Anything else you want to cover?
Who has a kid?
Mark Zuckerberg and his wife.
He's got one, hasn't he? I think he's got one.
Oh, does he? That's how much I follow the royal family. Yeah.
Maybe one or two.
Well, they've only been married about 3 years, haven't they?
Yeah, I think they definitely got one. I think they may have two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for him. Well, hopefully he'll attempt to do something about this. Yeah. Melissa says 2.
Yeah,
Melissa
that's
says
right.
2.
Yeah.
All right, John. Anything else you want to cover?
Okay. No, listen, thanks. Have a great weekend, and
All right,
thanks
too.
very much to everybody.
We'll talk to you come Monday.
Okay, all the best. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, guys, real quick on the... let me get his mic. Okay. On the S&P 500, Concierge Trade Alert to consider selling 2801. On the first move down, there was 5 points available. On the second move down, actually, yeah, we're just going to leave it at 2. 7 points available. We never get out at the swing high or the swing low because we teach you to trail a stop. And if you trail the way we teach you, you're always going to leave a little something on the table. And you have to be okay with that. At the end of the day, you can't look back and say, oh my, look at how much I left behind. And don't worry about that. Take a look at what you actually earned. Okay? And then compare that to the string of days, weeks, months, maybe years where you weren't earning. You were spending as you continued on the hunt, the search. Okay? So that's the S&P. The Dow, consider selling 24,935, and the initial drop 60 points. So it's $300 per contract available. But again, you won't get out at the exact swing low. Why? For the very reason that I just explained. And then we did it again over here. Okay. And now we're taking a run to the upside. Let me see what the long on the Dow. If the opportunity presents, consider being long. 250.20. So we did just trigger that, and we put in a high so far at 2050.26. No, 28. So this is just getting going, and good luck with that. Alright, on the Russell. We didn't take a look at the Russell yet. We should do that. Okay, on the Russell. Zone to zone has been quite evident, the Russell this week. Come on. Yesterday in particular, that was quite a move. Alright, last night, or the wee hours of this morning when the email finally went out, on the Russell, consider buying 16.99. It's going to be about right here. There we go. And then on the short side, was there two-sided action there? Not much. Consider selling 1690. That Russell's been a bit of a challenge this week. Crude, I don't think we looked at crude. Alright, the weekly zone here, $1,000 per contract drop yesterday. And we moseyed back up to the zone. Crude, consider being along 70.65. 70.65, and so, as it were, there's 70.65. Okay. If you triggered in here, depending upon where you've set your stop and which time frame you used to set your stop, you may have weathered that storm. On the second move from 65. Now, of course, with the zone right overhead, we're just looking for the $300 per contract from here up to the zone. That becomes the target. But as will happen, sometimes we get a spike, and so we have 30, 60, roughly 60 points, so that's a $300 per contract move. We get back below, no, 65 to 95, that's 30, that's 150, so about a $300 move, and then we get back below the trigger. Important prices, important areas are almost always tested. So I would much prefer being in this move as opposed to this move, and certainly not in that move, because you're looking at a stop way back here. And on the Concierge Trade Alerts, we do not want to risk more than $300 per contract, because there's just too many opportunities in the course of a day to risk more than $300 per contract per trade. Far better to be patient and wait for a true low risk, high probability setup to appear, just like I teach you in the one-on-one mentoring sessions. Okay, now it looks like the NQ, this trigger at 73.85, we dropped $360 per contract. Whatever you took out of that is determined by how closely you were trailing that stop. Here looks like we're going to take another run at it. Now if the NQ gets back below the trigger and does not quickly reverse, it could take these other markets down with it. Okay, S&P side, these are 30-minute candles, so we've got an hour, 2 hours, 2.5, we got 5 more minutes, it'll be 2.5 hours. We've just been rolling sideways right at this 28.05 area, just below the high of the session, which is 28.07 and a quarter. Good word for the day. Philemon 1:15 and 16. Receive him forever, not now as a servant, but above a servant, as a brother. So what finally brought about an end to slavery? The gospel of Jesus Christ, plain and simple. Note the small letter Paul wrote to Philemon. A runaway slave was thrown into a Roman prison along with Paul, and Paul converted him to Christ. And when the slave was released, Paul sent him back to his owner, Philemon. The custom at that time was to kill escaped slaves after they had been recaptured. But now Philemon had also become a Christian, another convert of the Apostle Paul, who instructed him to receive him back, not as a servant, but above a servant, a brother. And in that new brotherhood, slavery found its death knell. So, let's fast forward to the days of William Wilberforce. I'm sure you've heard of him, that's a name that's hard to forget, who was convicted of his sin and converted under the preaching of John Wesley. Wilberforce, a slight hunchback man, became one of the most powerful members of Parliament. Consumed by the gospel and the freedom that Christ offered, Wilberforce devoted all his energies and eloquence to overthrowing the obnoxious African slave trade. And his success in abolishing it throughout the British Empire led to agitation for similar action in the United States. In fact, it was through the proclamations that thundered from pulpits throughout the northern states that abolitionist parties came into being and succeeded in destroying slavery once and for all. So it was through the church that slavery was eradicated. Jesus came to heal the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives. Luke 4:18. Are you a member of Christ's Redeemed Church? If not, you can sign up today. It's always a good day to get to know the Creator. All right, guys, it is the weekend, and CFRN law states you must spend quality time with your family. Of course, I'll see you all in church on Sunday. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are. May God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.